think of this. It's pretty crazy. Did you see the news? Yeah, you saw the news last week that some people got overly excited and leaked that they were having discussions about possibly being in a Duke Nukem movie. Did you see? You saw that news, right?
Yeah, man, I got real excited when I saw the news. I can't wait for Duke to hit the big screen in some form or fashion.
Yeah. You know what we got to do though? I noticed you talked about doing like how great would it be to have a CG Duke Nukem? Like that,
right?
Because that
R-rated CG, Randy, R-rated.
You know what? One day when I don't know what it would take to convince a studio to finance that, but one day if I ever get like notch money, we're just gonna say fuck it and blow it all and do that just for the hell of it, and maybe we'll find a new angle, you know.
Absolutely, lots of CG titties and explosions. Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you the thing about this process. I don't know if you've kind of bounced in and off of Hollywood a bit your whole career, right? Like these guys, it is a trip. Like I think the odds of this film happening are who knows, right? But you know, Paramount seems to be into it, and their studio, and that tends to increase the chances because. Well, they've got the dough, right? They got the muscle, and I think the default expectation is if it happens, it'll be a movie based on a video game, which means it's gonna suck. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see how much I can get involved in the thing and how much I can steer it along. We're supposed to have some approvals along the way. And I don't know. I do know this though, John. I do know that. If a big studio gets behind a Duke movie and they put a big budget behind it and market the damn thing, that's probably good for both you and me, right? That's the way I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
Anyway. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I don't know. I will say
my
this.
only concern is that with live action,
yeah.
Traditionally the video game movies gone live action have not done that well. But if you look at movies like Wreck-It Ralph, for instance,
yeah,
they do great.
Yeah.
Because, CG it's a world where you can do anything, and Duke needs that kind of world. Just my opinion.
I absolutely agree, and I think we should do. I'd love to do a CG something down the road. I don't have the means to do it myself, and believe me, I've tried to talk some people into it. There have been a couple of folks that have been interested in doing Duke Nukem as like an animated television series, but there's no real venue for that, right? There's no.
Have to be on HBO.
I don't know where. Like, it can't be a Saturday.
It can only be on Adult Swim.
Yeah, right.
Right before Toonami or something.
It can't be on. Yeah, it can't be on. It's not a Saturday morning cartoon. Right?
No.
So, but in Adult Swim, I don't know if I love the content on there, but these aren't exactly high budget productions. Not that matters, but the people that we've talked to so far have been sincere, but I don't know. It just seems like it's a hard job. It's a really hard job. So I'd love to see it happen, but you need to get the right partners.
At some point, you got to try to get a foot in the door, I think. Yeah. Can we get at least a Duke action figure on the fucking robot chicken or something? Come on.
That sounds like a plan. Hey, maybe I can...
yeah, there you go.
You know what? I have an angle for that. That was a good idea. I might have an angle for that. Yeah, so let me tell you, I've been learning something, by the way, because I don't know if you know this, but we're making a Borderlands movie. And that one is much farther along in the process. The studio is Lionsgate, who have been an absolute joy to work with. And the production company is called Arad Productions. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard the name Arad before, but Avi Arad ran Marvel Studios. And they did Spider-Man and then X-Men and Iron Man and the Avengers. And they kind of figured out how to make big blockbuster movies out of those comic books. And now there are New Frontiers trying to do the same thing with video games. And they think Borderlands would be a good universe to do it in. And so that's where that bet is. And there's been a couple of great iterations on scripts that are being developed. I really like the script that we've got now, and we're about to do another iteration, which I think will improve it even more. We've got a director involved. That project is really progressing beautifully. But one of the things I've learned, this is something that Ari Arad told me. He said, when with video games, especially the video games that have kind of realism, the audience tends to have an idea in their head of what the actor needs to look like when you go to live action. But with comic books, that wasn't the case. And that's one of the reasons why they think Borderlands will really help, because there's the cartoon kind of art direction doesn't lead you to a specific human look necessarily. And I think that's one of the reasons why cosplay with Borderlands works so well. I've noticed, like, even though Duke sometimes has a somewhat realistic rendering, his roots, I think his most memorable history is more of a cartoon rendering.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Duke Nukem cosplay works. So I think Duke has a chance. I don't know who will end up playing the guy. I think, it's a bit early. And I'm still trying to figure out what my involvement in that's going to be. But I do think that that there's a better chance that it might not suck as bad as some of the other ones on the point of character, just because I think we'll be a little more open to different physical looks for Duke. I'll tell you this though. I don't think we can have a Duke Nukem movie if you're not in it in some way, John. I think you've got to have a
cameo.
Get you in there somehow. We've got to do this.
I'll be the Stanley cameo. I'll be the old pervert.
I love this.
On a hooker or something. Right?
Oh, wow. I love it.
Perfection.
I got to defend my whole R-rated CG campaign here.
Do it.
If Duke was done as a CG movie instead, he'll look exactly as he did in the game.
That's true. That's that option.
And he'll sound exactly as he did in the game. That's why I go. It's not about me having a part or a role to make money with. It's about keeping the character alive and true to who he is.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that.
But here's another angle too that I figured. You know what, Randy? A lot of people had, the old misogynistic womanizer Duke Nukem in the '90s is not going to play well today. Well, imagine if he had a sidekick. And let's just imagine that voice was, I don't know, H. John Benjamin, because I like it. And this kick, the whole joke, the ring joke is, Duke, no, we got to get you up to date, man. You can't act like that anymore. You can't grab ass. You got to do it this way.
Yeah, that could be
and make that part of the humor of the film, and bring Duke into the modern landscape of what's going on, and then he can continue to be a relevant character into the future without being that misogynistic womanizer.
I think that's an interesting
in
strategy.
This day of sexual harassment and such.